Ladies and gentlemen, if you really want to know what DSA is trying to build, then you don't need to be listening to any more slogans. We are going to reveal it right here on this video. You don't have to look no further. I think that you should share this video with your friends if you have been enjoying this show, because I'm telling you, you don't want to miss what we're about to show you right here. So let's go over to their website, because I think you guys really need to see this. I was kind of shocked that they were this clear on their website too, but you know what? They put it here. So in um, Article 2, under their Constitution, because they have their Constitution on their site. For you guys that don't know that, you can go there and look. We want to read their Constitution. That's what we want to do, because this is where they tell you in their own words what they reject and what they want to replace capitalism with. And once you read Article 2, like seriously, once you read Article 2, then this conversation, it gets a lot more serious. So, um, let's start by reading the beginning. Look what they have here. They have, we are socialists because we reject an economic order based on private profit. You see that? Alienated labor, gross inequalities of wealth and power, discrimination based on race, gender, identity, sexual orientation, disability status, age, religion, and all that other good stuff. All right. What I want you guys to see is look right here where they say, we are socialists because we share a vision of a humane social order based on popular control of resources and production, economic planning, equitable distribution, feminism. Yeah, I have to put that in there. Racial equality, and non-oppressive relationships. All right. But watch this. We are socialists because we are developing a concrete strategy for achieving that vision, for building a majority movement that will make democratic socialism a reality in America. And we believe that such a strategy must acknowledge the class structure of American society, and that this class structure means that there is a basic conflict of interest between those sectors and what enormous economic power in the vast majority of the population. So for some of you guys, it probably just went over your head, but look what they said. Look what they have here. How they talk about how they reject an economic order based on private profit. And I didn't put that there. Democratic socialism put that there. And if anything, you should stop, because a lot of people, you just read that pretty smooth. You just ate that plate up. You took that food and you were just grinding. You were like, yep, this tastes good. This tastes good. But you didn't know what you was eating. And that's where we come in at, because we check the noise. Listen, this is not about when you read that, this is not we want billionaires taxed more, we want better wages, we want universal health care. They say right here on their website that they're rejecting an economic order based on private profit. And that, you guys, is much bigger. All right. If you remember in video 1, we talked about how all of what they're teaching hangs on that one sentence, that one word that was doing all of the work. Remember that word design, right? So I just want you guys to remember that, because this here, this is much bigger. All right. Private profit is one of the basic engines of capitalism, and they know that. Listen, what happens in capitalism? You build something, you own it, right? You're the one that take the risk. And guess what? You may succeed or you may fail. And DSA is telling you that that model itself, oh no, they reject that model. So they don't like it. They're telling you, we're going to take it away. And that isn't, hey, you know what? We want to fix capitalism. That's not what they're saying. They're saying they reject that economic model. They want to remove it. And that is the foundation that capitalism runs on. And they want to remove that. Again, they didn't tell you we want to fix it. Mm-mm. So listen, if you're thinking about joining the DSA, then you need to know that. You need to know what this organization believes, what they're trying to put out there, what they're promoting for you guys. Because remember, what you support, you lift up. So if you support them in any form of fashion, then you're lifting them up. All right. So I just want you guys to know what you're trying to replace. So look what they want instead. They said their constitution. I mean, this is what they envision. Popular control. It's written right there. You can see it. Popular control of resources and production. But some of you guys don't even know what that looks like. And some of you are probably, even me, I had to question that for a little bit. What do they mean by popular control? And they're telling you in economic planning, it's laid out right there. It's there. And we're not talking about free college anymore. Okay? So I'm just trying to get you guys to pause and look at what you're trying to eat up. Okay? I don't want you guys being deceived because again, we're not talking about free college anymore. We're talking about the resources. We're talking about the production. We're talking about the planning, the distribution. These are the things that I'm trying to make you guys aware of because at the end of the day, all those things make up the economy. And they're not talking about regulating it. They're talking about owning it. They're talking about owning it. And our ancestors built this country into the greatest country in the world. And there's so much more about this organization that you guys are not watching. The people that affiliate with it, the people that they call the working people. And I may do a video on that as well. But you guys have to be careful of what you support because what you support, you lift up. And you may just out of ignorance not be aware that you're handing over your power and your country to another people that could either be your people or could be disguised as being your people. And we need to be careful of that. All right. So if somebody says that we want popular control of production, then we need to ask some questions. All right. You want the control. So who's going to own the factories? Because I need to know that who's going to control the factories and who's going to control the energy, who's going to control the water, who's going to control the transportation. These are things that we need to know. We want to know who's going to decide who gets what gets produced, who decides where the resources go. We need to know these questions, you guys, and not just be blindly accepting whatever's put before us because somebody has to make those decisions, you guys. And that's something that we brought up before. Somebody has to make those decisions. They want popular control, they want to own, and they want to control. And the minute you move from private control, from private ownership to popular control, you have moved the power from somewhere. You've transferred it from somewhere else. So when you take it from out of your private hands and you give it to someone else, the power has moved. I don't think you guys understand, and this may be your first time hearing this, that a lot of what is going on in this country, a lot of the things that you're seeing is because some people touch the power. All right? It's the power. And you have to be careful when you touch the power. So if you guys are enjoying this show, then go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys that helps get this our videos in front of people, and there's so much more to come. There's so much to check. But yeah, let's get back to this video. So popular control, it sounds beautiful, right? And that's until you ask who controls it. Again, popular control sounds good. You know, the slogans, the beautiful words that they put out there, democratic socialism, it all sounds good till you ask who controls it. And yeah, is it the people? It could be. You know, is it the state? You know, is it the uh, mysterious owning class that created all this stuff to exploit everybody that, you know, we asked about? Because we're going to be waiting on that. And I need the evidence of that. We need to see that. All right. We want to know who is that owning class. So we're going to be waiting on that. All right. But popular control, the people, all those things are talking points. All right. We have to be careful of the talking points because remember, I brought this up before, 340 million people cannot sit in the driver's seat. They can't. It's impossible. Somebody has to sit there and make the decisions and call the shots because everybody's not going to sit at the table and there's only going to be one table and everybody's not going to be sitting at the table deciding who gets what and how much electricity get produced, where the factories get built. That's not going to happen like that, right? So eventually somebody's going to get elected, somebody's going to get appointed, and somebody's going to get authority, the power to decide and make decisions on what's going to happen in your life because what you support, you lift up because you have decided to give it away and you didn't understand or you were unaware of the attacks or and I'm not saying that you are under attack by any means, but what I'm trying to get you guys to do is be careful and ask questions and ask for the structure. You know, we want the background because the people may own it in theory, but somebody else, they're going to control it in practice. And that is the question. So I want to talk to you guys about something that, you know, when I was looking at this, I wanted to just take the time to get you guys to imagine this system and really think about this system. You know, think about like all of the production, think about all of the businesses, everything that is tied under it, and say that it is under popular or public control. And think about all the economic planning, all those things that are tied into it, and the major resources and how all of it is controlled by the DSA and by all of the political institutions that are connected to it. So I want you guys to think about that. And then I want you to ask, because this is the question that we need to ask. All right. What happens when the people doing the planning are wrong? Yeah. What happens when the people who are doing all the planning are wrong? What happens when they are corrupt or they are incompetent? What happens when they have some political bias? I'm just asking, you know, because we see how that operates under capitalism, and we know that you know, I still own things, and I still have my own individual power, and I still have my freedoms. But what happens under democratic socialism when these things happen? When the people that you elect begin to start protecting friends? What happens when they start punishing enemies, their enemies, people that don't agree with them? What happens when those things starts to happen? All right, and that doesn't mean that it's gonna happen automatically or right away. No, I'm not saying that. But if you're asking me to move the economic power from one place into this planned structure that they're talking about right here, then you also need to show me the brakes. I need to know where we put the brakes at because um In this article uh, that they have here, well, in their constitution that they have written here, they're telling you we reject economic order based on private profit. And there's a whole lot being said in that sentence that is going unnoticed because a lot of you just over there gobbling. Yup. You just throwing it back. Yeah. A system should not be judged only by what good that the people can do with it, but it should be judged by also the bad people and what they can do with it as well. We need to know that. So I don't want you to hear, you know, DSA wants fairness DSA wants to give health care to all, free transportation, frozen rent, and all these things that some of you guys are talking about because those things they're too shallow for me. And you know, I want you guys to read what they wrote, see it for yourself. They call for popular control of resources and production. They reject an economic order based on private profit. They call for economic planning. They want you to hand over your power. In other words, they want you to hand over your country to them. That's what they're telling you. And those things, those are system level changes. So if you support that, then that's fine. But you should support it and knowing what you're signing yourself up for. So do not support the DSA because somebody told you. Uh, yeah, they got the health care. Um, you know, all these little talking points and slogans and things that they're throwing out to you about the workers and the fairness and how billionaires are greedy. No, no, no. We check the noise over here. We ask the questions that need to be asked. And we also share this type of content. So before you join the movement that wants to change who controls the economy, I need you guys to read the part where they're telling you exactly about what they're planning and what they want to control. That's what I want you guys to know. And then you will know. Okay? And then you will know. And for some of you, you're learning by watching videos like this. So, because once you move the ownership and the production, the resources, and the planning into a new power structure, getting that power back is not going to be easy. It's not going to be that simple. When all of the bad does start happening, it ain't going to be that easy. And you have examples of that. You have countries that are turning away from being in those um, socialistic, democratic societies. How it was all told to them too at the beginning it's going to be democratic socialism. We have examples of that, and there isn't one of them that have turned out to be good. So listen, if you want the real talk without the spin, then you're in the right place. We don't just stop at the reaction, we check the noise. And I'm R. Anderson Jr., and God bless.